Hey everybody, I'm Matthew Schilling, and we're here right now at Westland Center in Westland, Michigan. Here's a marquee sign that kind of shows you some of the current anchors and businesses that are in the mall right now, currently anchored by JCPenney, Sears, Kohl's. And there's also Verizon Wireless in the mall, Parcels, Panera, and Longhorn Steakhouse. And Olga's Kitchen is a restaurant that operates in the mall too. So I'm going to show you around the mall here, and I'll tell you about it as we go along the way here. But to start off, I'm the founder and co-administrator of a couple groups and pages on Facebook. The group being Retail Way, which discusses different aspects of retail, past and present. And then Live Malls, which follows the past and present of shopping malls across the country. Both the links for those for the group Retail Way and the page Live Malls can be found in the description of my channel. So right here we have Sears, which is actually the newest anchor of the mall. Opened in the late 90s, toward the millennium there, maybe 2000, if my memory serves me. It's a little foggy, but somewhere around that area. And as you can see, this is a pretty typical Sears for their mid to late 90s store. That's what the facades of all these era stores look like. And then off to the right, you can see JCPenney, which has been anchoring Westland Center since the mid to late 70s. Actually, before JCPenney was there was a Kroger store on that land, but it didn't last too long in the 70s, and they knocked it down and JCPenney took its spot. Now there's something kind of interesting I want to show you in between Sears and JCPenney, kind of tucked behind the Sears building. It's an older part of, well, what the exterior facade of the mall looked like before they placed Sears where they did. And we're coming up on this open gate here right now. And I don't know if you can start seeing a greenhouse style facade. Well, yeah, you can definitely see it now. And this greenhouse used to belong to Burger King. If you can kind of recognize how some of their earlier stores had the greenhouse kind of facades to them. Get you a little closer. And of course, there's some random carts over here too. The Great Indoors, which is a very interesting one to have here, because the closest Great Indoors was in Novi, Michigan, which is about maybe 20 minutes away. So how that cart got all the way over here, I don't know. But the Great Indoors was kind of an appliance store, I want to say. And they were owned by Sears. But Sears closed them quite a few years ago now. But getting back to Westland Center. So we're back along the side of JCPenney here. The JCPenney opened up in the spot, I want to say, in 1976, 1977, somewhere in that range. And JCPenney has Sephora. Okay, you better look at the JCPenney sign here too. And coming up that door there, that's the package pickup area, as indicated by that smaller sign you see under the canopy. Then that's the JCPenney loading dock. Across the way, that over there was the Sears Auto Center. Sears closed this auto center a few years ago, and it now runs as some sort of independent auto center. All right, so we're going along the wall of JCPenney here, and what you see there is an old gate for their auto center. Now, JCPenney hasn't had auto centers since, 1983 or so, so that hasn't been operational as an auto center in decades. I can't remember if they used the entire square footage of this old auto center, but I know for most of the time up until recently, they've been using it for furniture and appliances over here. And it had its own separate entrance, which I'll show you on the other side. Across the way, you can kind of see, I don't know if this is a good look at it because of all those trees there, but that's a Target across the way. And we also have former Mervyn's across the street too. It's now a Burlington coat factory. And there you have Longhorn Steakhouse, which is an out parcel of the mall here. So going back to JCPenney, this was the entrance of the auto center and what later became the furniture and appliances. You can kind of see some of the Samsung display there for washers and dryers. I don't know if you can see it, but that's how you know that's where the appliances were. And that was another interior entrance, which they've had closed off for a couple decades now at least. They haven't used that in a while. And if you were thinking that this JCPenney looked kind of short in the beginning, well, this is a two-story store, as you can kind of tell now. Almost got a bit of a tri-level vibe to it, but nah, two-level store here. Okay, so going back this way, you can kind of see the old Mervyn's now a Burlington coat factory. And then across the street there, you have a better look at the Target now. Target had a habit of opening up near their department stores, at least in Metro Detroit, the land malls. They were all anchored by Hudson's, which was owned by the Target Corporation. And Target would basically operate either across the street or in the same mall as the Hudson's. And you'll see where the old Hudson's was coming up in a few minutes. Later became Marcia Fields, later became Macy's. Now you have some mall entrances right here. The Westland Mall logo looks pretty cool. And here you see the Panera Bread out parcel. And coming up you see the Verizon. Also to the right of Verizon you see Kohl's, which is a slightly newer addition to the mall, I want to say. Westland Center added what was then Main Street in the mid to late 80s. Main Street got taken shortly after by Kohl's, and it's been Kohl's ever since. So there's the another Westland Center mall entrance. And there are a few outside access stores here, like Verizon, obviously one of them. You have Ulta coming up, which is another one. And then to the right of Ulta, you see Charming Charlie, which I believe is closed now. I think the whole company went under. But Ulta and Charming Charlie were among some of the newer editions of Westland Center. They haven't been around too long, maybe a few years tops. Where Charming Charlie was, it used to be a Big Boy. And then after Big Boy, it was a place called Jonathan B. Pub. Now, Jonathan B. Pub was just kind of like a local dive bar inside some of the Metro Detroit malls. None of the Metro Detroit malls have them anymore. I think the last Jonathan B. Pub is inside the Grand Traverse Mall in Traverse City, Michigan. So that's about the only thing left of that Jonathan B. Pub legacy. But now we're coming up alongside of Kohl's here, the former Main Street. This used to be an exterior entrance, but somewhere when they did a renovation in the mid to late 2000s, they actually closed it off and they just kind of patched up where the doors were, so you can't even tell now. But this was an outside entrance for Kohl's at one time. Besides that one place where they patched up where the doors were, you can still kind of see the 1980s-ness of this Kohl's when it was Main Street. Some of that's still around. And here's another exterior entrance for Kohl's. So yeah, I believe this did open up as Main Street, but I believe it only operated as a Main Street for a year or two tops. It wasn't for very long. Pretty sure before 1990 this became a Kohl's. And we're about to come up on the eastern side of Westland Center. The side facing Wayne Road. There's another marquee for the mall. And the eastern side of Kohl's now. Alright, so over there's another out parcel. It's currently vacant. It was a place called Ashley's Beer and Grill, but they closed a few months ago, well, toward the end of 2019. It used to be an Uno Chicago pizzeria. So once we get past this side of Kohl's, you'll start seeing some of the rest of the mall, including that old Hudson's I was talking about, closed back in 2017. And there's another exterior entrance for the mall. Right there. And you can also start seeing some of another store that has outdoor access from Westland Center, this one being Shoe Carnival. Here's the loading dock for the mall right there. It's got kind of an underground tunnel system. And there you can see some of the old Ashleys, that old Uno Chicago again, right there. And around the shoe carnival, we're going to wind up at another mall entrance. And then here's a restaurant that operates in the mall. That's Olga's Kitchen over there. They're locally around the Metro Detroit area. Alright, so coming up around this corner, you'll see the old Macy's. And actually, you can see it right now. This was a 3-story building that, if I remember correctly, had a basement too. But this was a 3-story building. Originally was Hudson's. J.L. Hudson, actually, they were in a partnership with Victor Gruen to design the mall and the other 3 land malls in the Metro Detroit area. Those being, obviously, Westland, Eastland over in Harper Woods, Southland and Taylor, and Northland and Southfield. And coming up here was another signature of all the land malls in Metro Detroit, and that's a statue here, a sculpture rather, from Marshall Fredericks, designed by Marshall Fredericks. I can't remember what this one was called, at least it didn't have like a nameplate to identify it or anything, but that's just another feature that you see in the land malls. And each one had their own unique one too. I believe Eastland had one called the Lion and the Mouse, so it wasn't a swan looking thing like that, but another Marshall Fredericks statue over there. Yeah, not much was changed about this store. Not after the Marshall Fields rebranding nor the Macy's one. They all kind of left it pretty 1960s. Take another look at that side of the building. And you have another mall entrance that doesn't really have the, I'll zoom it over, it doesn't really have the kind of facade that all the other ones do. I'm not going to go all the way in. There's really no point to. Can't see too much. It's just a really long mall corridor, so there isn't really anything to look at inside there. But across the way from the old Hudson's, we have Sears again. And that's the merchandise pickup area for Sears. Actually, I do want to kind of see if I can see that old Burger King greenhouse from the other side. I don't know if I'll be able to. It looks like a pretty tight fit there. Yeah, not worth it. So we'll go back around Sears and complete the track here. And this should about do it. And I'll zoom in on this too. There's the facade of the old Sears Auto Center, now, like I said, an independent auto center. I don't know if Auto Accessories is supposed to be the name, but that's what's prominently on the sign. But an independent auto center nonetheless. So there you have it. This is Westland Center in Westland, Michigan. And I'm Matthew Schilling, founder and co-administrator of Retail Way and co-administrator of Live Malls. You can find the links for those, the Facebook group Retail Way, and the Facebook page Live Malls within the description of my channel. Thanks for watching, everybody.